That great heart rested. The hall towered, gold-shingled and gabled, and the guests slept in it until the black raven with raucous glee announced heaven's joy, and a hurry of brightness overran the shadows. Warriors rose quickly, impatient to be off. Their own country was beckoning the nobles, and the bold voyager longed to be aboard his distant boat. Then that stalwart fighter ordered Hrunting to be brought to Unferth, and bade Unferth take the sword and thanked him for lending it. He said he had found it in a friend in battle, and a powerful help. He put no blame on the blade's cutting edge. He was a considerate man. And there the warriors stood in their war gear, eager to go, while their honored lord approached the platform where the others sat. The undaunted hero addressed Hrothgar. Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, spoke.
Now we who crossed the wide sea have to inform you that we feel a desire to return to Heliac. Here we have been welcomed and thoroughly entertained. You have treated us well. If there is any favor on earth I can perform, beyond deeds of arms, I have done already. Anything that would merit your affections more, I shall act, my lord, with alacrity. If ever I hear from across the ocean that people on your borders are threatening battle, as attackers have done from time to time, I shall land with 1,000 thanes at my back to help your cause. Heliac may be young to rule a nation, but this much I know about the king of the Geats. He will come to my aid and want to support me by word and action in your hour of need. When honor dictates that I shall raise a hedge of spears around you. Then if Heothric should think about traveling as a king's son to the court of the Geats, he will find many friends. Foreign places yield more to one who is himself worth meeting.
Hrothgar spoke and answered him. The Lord in his wisdom sent you these words, and they came from the heart. I have never heard so young a man make truer observations. You are strong in body and mature in mind, impressive in speech. If it should come to pass that Hrethel's descendant dies beneath a spear, if deadly battle or the sword blade or disease fell the prince who guards your people, and you are still alive, then I firmly believe the seafaring Geats won't find a man worthier of acclaim as their king and defender than you, if only you would undertake the lordship of your homeland. My liking for you deepens with time, dear Beowulf. What you have done is to draw two peoples, the Geat nation and us neighboring Danes, into shared peace and a pact of friendship in spite of hatreds we have harbored in the past. For as long as I rule this far-flung land, treasures will change hands and each side will treat the other with gifts. Across the Gannis Bath, over the broad sea, world prows will bring presents and tokens. I know your people are beyond reproach in every respect, steadfast in the old way with friend and foe.
Then the earl's defender furnished the hero with 12 treasures and told him to set out, sail with these gifts safely home to the people he loved, but to return promptly. And so the good and gray-haired Dane, that high-born king, kissed Beowulf and embraced his neck, then broke down in sudden tears. 2 forebodings disturbed him in his wisdom, but one was stronger. Never more would they meet each other face to face, and such was his affection that he could not help being overcome. His fondness for the man was so deep-founded, it warmed his heart and wound the heartstrings tight and wound the heartstrings tight in his breast. The embrace ended, and Beowulf, glorious in his gold regalia, stepped the green earth. Straining at anchor and ready for boarding, his boat awaited him. So they went on their journey, and Hrothgar's generosity was praised repeatedly. He was a peerless king until old age sapped his strength and did him mortal harm, as it has done so many.
Down to the waves, then. Dressed in the web of their chainmail and war shirts, the young men marched in high spirits. The Coast Guard spied them, Thane setting forth the same as before. His salute this time from the top of the cliff was far from unmannerly. He galloped to meet them, and as they took ship in their shining gear, he said how welcome they would be in Geatland. Then the broad hull was beached on the sand to be cargoed with treasure, horses, and war gear. The curved prow motioned. The mast stood high above Hrothgar's riches in the loaded hold. The guard who had watched the boat was given a sword with gold fittings, and in future days that present would make him a respected man at his place on the mead bench. Then the keel plunged and shook in the sea, and they sailed from Denmark. Right away the mast was rigged with its sea shawl. Sail ropes were tightened, timbers drummed, and stiff winds kept the wave crosser skimming ahead. As she heaved forward, her foamy neck was fleet and buoyant, a lapped prow loping over currents, until finally the Geats caught sight of a coastline and familiar cliffs. The keel reared up. Wind lifted it home. It hit on the land.
The harbor guard came hurrying out to the rolling water. He had watched the offing, long and hard, on the lookout for those friends. With the anchor cables he moored their craft, right where it had beached, in case a backwash might catch the hull and carry it away. Then he ordered the prince's treasure trove to be carried ashore. It was a short step from there to where Hethrel's son and heir, Higlath, the gold giver, makes his home on a secure cliff in the company of retainers. The building was magnificent, the king majestic, ensconced in his hall, and though Hygard, his queen, was young, a few short years at court, her mind was thoughtful and her manners sure. Hargrath's daughter behaved generously and stinted nothing when she distributed bounty to the Geats.